What's up, guys? Spin Firearms here, and 2024 for me at least has been the year of used pickups. I always like to stress the importance of used pickups. Now, they're not always the best, right? Sometimes you'll go and you'll find a used Glock for $475, and it's like, what is the point? Or you'll find like a used SIG P365 for $465, and you're like, should I just go new, But there's sometimes you just find ridiculous deals. A brand new Glock 26 that's been fired 50 times, $300. Springfield Armory XD, $275, barely been shot. And the whole point of firearms are they're supposed to be able to last and be ran for thousands and thousands of rounds with no problems, right? That's the whole point. For instance, that Smith & Wesson will last me thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of rounds. You may have to swap out a part here and there, whatever the case may be, but generally speaking, the average manufacturer that, is a household name is going to last pretty long. So buying used firearms, there's nothing wrong with it. Now, some people made the comment that buying used firearms, they don't do it because they could potentially have been used in a crime. And it's like, okay, then just go to a firearms store in a nice area. Go to a firearms store, away from a bad area. Like, it's pretty dang simple. I've never had any issues. And a lot of the firearms I buy are actually used. And I don't have any problem with it, nor have I ever had any issues buying a used firearm. Anyways, let's check out this. This is actually my buddy's. He let me borrow it for a review and just to show you some of the amazing deals that are out here, right? And once again, if you guys want to support the channel, Steelhead makes great safes, great lock boxes, great cabinet safes, stuff like that. So if you want to support the channel, if you pick something up from them using the link in the comment section, it'll help out the channel. And they are great, great quality. Now, taking a look at this, you'd say, okay, it's a Glock with some upgrades. This is definitely not a stock Glock. Oops, turn the light on an accident. Now, what would you think this goes for? Well, this was purchased for $300. We actually went to the range. My buddy Dimitri, Dan Hag, Dan S, Aaron, we all went. Jackie, we all had a blast, right? But what was sitting in the used container? This. I took one look at it, and I'm like, either you're getting it or we're going to get it. It's just that simple, right? Take a look at this. Barrel wear, slide wear, frame. Usually you'll have a couple dings in the frame or literally nothing. And once again, though, notice something. You're going to see this theme over and over again. 40 Smith & Wesson. Now, the thing about buying a 40 is a lot of people are sick of it. So they're like, oh, too much recoil. So they sell it. What they don't realize is they could spend, typically the same amount that they're about to lose by selling that used firearm on a conversion barrel. You can buy a conversion barrel for this and an ejector, and you now have 9mm. You can buy a conversion barrel for .357 SIG. You don't even need an ejector, and you now have a Glock 32. You can also buy a 22 long rifle kit for this if you really wanted to, and have a 22 long rifle to train your friends on or your kids or whatever the case may be, right? It's an awesome, awesome way to go. So buying a 40, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And I just like 40. And especially when crap hits the fan. Oh, I keep turning the light on. When crap hits the fan, you're going to want a 40. They're going to be on the shelf still because everyone got rid of their 40s. Except for me, a couple buddies, it is what it is. I know there are still some 40 fans out there, but generally speaking, people who shoot a lot do not shoot 40 over and over again. You go down the line at the range, and it's not 40 Smith & Wesson. Anyways, let's see what we got for $300, or what he got for $300. One, an Enforce Light. These probably go for, 130 to 160 is my guess, right? A good, solid quality light. Now, yes, it's an older one, but still, it works really nice. And he actually wrote the company, and they are sending him a brand new one. Absolutely crazy. And I think the upgraded model. So that's a win right there. $300. Remember, this was $300. The light alone, the brand new one, is probably going to be $150. Talon grips. The person actually already shaved off the finger grooves. They made a little bit of an undercut. They didn't do the best job, but they made a little undercut. So now you have this really comfortable grip, and all they did is throw some Talon grips on it, and oh my goodness, does it feel good. To get the finger grooves removed, that's going to cost you a pretty penny. 100, 150, 200 potentially, right? Tyrant mag release. Not the biggest deal in the world, but that's still going to cost you $25. True Glow sights. I actually have the same exact sight picture on my Glock 27. They're True Glow night sights. Tritium works flawlessly still. Unbelievable. Those sights are going to easily run you 70. Backplate. We're not the biggest fan of the backplate, or at least I'm not. I definitely would swap that out. But if you were to keep that, 20, 25, right? I wouldn't have it on a carry gun. But if you wanted to keep that, put on something for the range, right? Unbelievable. Now the trigger, I'm not sure what trigger shoe this is. The internals are still Glock OEM. It's just a trigger shoe. But it's actually a pretty dang good trigger. I was actually pretty shocked. Now it's not a Trigger Shark trigger, but crisp, clean, and it just gives it a little bit better feel than a stock Glock trigger. Recess really nice on it. I mean, absolutely clean. Take a look at the barrel. It literally looks brand new. Now what I said is, I would have bought the Glock 23 for $300 with no trigger, with no light, with no sights, with no backplate, with no aftermarket anything. I would have bought it just a Glock 23. But now you literally have a 23 full of upgrades. Shoot, you can make this a beater firearm if you wanted to. $300, that's a beater. That's something, you know, a truck gun, a backpack gun, a backup, a woods carry, even being in 40 Smith & Wesson. A lot of people forget how versatile a 40 Smith & Wesson is out of a 4-inch barrel. It's not the best thing in the world in the woods, but you can still do work and take on some pretty big things in the woods with some hard cast or whatever the case may be. Absolutely love this handgun right here. It's awesome. I mean, for $300. And I know there's a lot of people out there that hate Glocks. Actually, the person who bought this was not a Glock guy at all. He was a SIG guy, right? He started shooting a lot of my Glocks, and he started to like them and realize why they're so important. Even though they don't give you a lot right out of the box, why they are what they are. Why they have the reputation, the name they have, all of that. He started to realize that real quick. So now, he's a Glock fanboy, right? I wouldn't say fanboy. He's a Glock fan, right? He's still a SIG fan, but he's also a Glock fan because all these handguns that they put out are great. The only reason I talk down on SIG sometimes is because I've had terrible issues with my P365. So did hundreds of thousands of other people, especially upon release. So that's the only reason I talk about it. Overall, I would have probably paid easily $450 for this used. I would have paid it. But $300 simply because it's in 40, and yes, I get a little bit of modifications and stuff like that. It is what it is. But for $300, tell me you wouldn't pick this up. That's absolutely insane. Absolutely crazy. And yes, they did the little crayon thing, or where you melt down a crayon or a white marker, throw it in there, whatever. None of that matters. What matters is you basically got a brand new Glock. All that little tiny wear right there is from racking the slide and messing with it. When you look on the inside, normally right behind your striker right there in your striker channel, it turns to brass. It turns like a brass color, right? That little, it turns like goldish, right? None. The finish looks the same on the inside as it does on the outside. Brand stinking new. I absolutely love this thing. Tell me in the comments, would you have picked it up? How much would you have paid for it? Was it worth it? In my opinion, this is a great pickup. It's a handgun that's going to last you a lifetime, and it's a Glock. Nothing wrong with Glocks at all. I'll let you take one last look at it, then I'll end the video. Thanks for watching, guys.